Hello students, welcome to the new session of Social Studies. Today we are going to start with a new chapter, chapter number 4, Realms of the Earth. So let's start the chapter. Now realms means the kingdom of the earth. Each and every living and non-living things has lives on their own, they have their own places to live. Some stays on land, some on water and some on air. So from this picture we have to find out there that which species lives where, whether they live on land or water or air. So the first picture is of lion. So where does the lion stays? The lion stays on the land. Next comes the butterfly. The butterfly spends most of its time on the air. Next, the octopus. The octopus spends most of its time in the water. Next, the fish. The fish also spends most of its time in water. Then comes the birds. The bird spends most of its time on air. Next, in this chapter we are going to learn about the composition of the earth and also about the land, water, air and life on earth. So, realms of the earth. Our earth includes land, water, air, plants, animals and us. Us means human beings. It is made up of both living and non-living things. So, we know that the earth is made up of living as well as non-living things. All things are interdependent. All the living and non-living things are interdependent with each other. For example, we need air to breathe, water to drink, land to build our homes and plants and animals to feed on. So, as we are interdependent, all the living and non-living things are interdependent. So, as human beings, what they need to breathe, they need air to breathe. Then we are dependent on air to breathe. Then we are also dependent on water to drink. Then we are also dependent on land. On land what we do? We build our houses to live. And then plants and animals, we need them for to feed on. We need them to feed on. So each and every living and non-living things are interdependent. Next. These components of the earth are called rims or spheres. These include lithosphere or land, hydrosphere or water and atmosphere or air. Parts of these three spheres make up the biosphere or the zone where life exists on the earth. So, we have the composition of earth. What are the composition of earth? They are lithosphere, which is known as land, hydrosphere, which is known as water and atmosphere, which is known as air. And this composition makes up the biosphere where life actually exists. Now let us see one by one more about them. The first is lithosphere. Lithosphere is a realm of land. It consists of 3 layers. Now the lithospheres, the land also has 3 layers. They are crust, the mantle and the core. Of this, the core is further divided into the inner core and the outer core. See, among this core also, it is divided into inner and outer core. The deeper we go inside the earth, the hotter it becomes. As a result, the layers change from a solid to a semi-solid state gradually. Only the inner core remains solid due to the immense force exerted on it by the upper layers. So, this is the structure of the layer. You can see the lithosphere consists of 3 layers, which are those, it is a crust, the mantle and the core. This is the core. Okay, this brown color, it is the core. Now, this core is further divided into two, that is known as the inner core and the outer core. Okay. Then the deeper we go inside the earth, it becomes hotter, because it changes, the layer changes from solid to a semi-solid, and then the inner core remains solid. The inner core means this, it remains solid because of the force of the upper layers. We can say that because of the force of the upper layer, the inner core becomes it becomes solid, it remains a solid. All of these layers are composed of rocks and minerals. Crust forms the uppermost layer, mantle is the middle layer, while the core is the innermost layer of the lithosphere. Next comes to the hydrosphere, which is water. Hydrosphere is a sphere of water. It covers nearly 71% of the earth's surface. So, everybody knows that why earth is known as a blue planet, because 3/4 of the earth's surface is covered with water. That is why earth is known as the blue planet. Hence, the earth is known as a blue planet. Hydrosphere includes oceans, rivers and lakes on the surface of the earth. It also includes water in the aquifers under the ground, clouds in the air and snow and glaciers on mountain peaks. So, how we can see clouds, but do you know that how the cloud forms? It is because of the water cycle. Now, water cycle means the process of evaporation, condensation and precipitation. Together it is known as water cycle, and because of this the water keeps on, we never get the water never gets finished from the earth. And on the earth we can also see snow and glaciers on the mountain peaks. So, we can say that only a few percent of the water is present in the earth for drinking. The other percent of very less quantity of water we can see as snow and glaciers, and the next other percent we can see it as salty water. Next, water in all its form is constantly moving. Water in rivers and oceans moves into the atmosphere and then goes back to the rivers and oceans. This process is known as water cycle. This continuous movement of water is known as a water cycle. It consists of 3 stages: evaporation, condensation and precipitation. Next comes atmosphere. Atmosphere is a realm of air. It is a kingdom of air. It is basically a mixture of gases. So, atmosphere, the air is known as atmosphere, and it consists a mixture of gases, mixtures of various gases. It includes nitrogen, oxygen and carbon dioxide, water vapor and various other gases. So, atmosphere includes nitrogen, it includes oxygen, carbon dioxide, water vapor and various other gases. Atmosphere envelopes the earth like a blanket and acts as a genetic filter, keeping out harmful rays of the sun. So, atmosphere, what does it do? It helps as a blanket of the earth. It protects the earth from the harmful ultraviolet rays which comes from the sun. Like the lithosphere, the atmosphere too has a layered structure. From the ground towards the sky, the layers of the atmosphere are troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, ionosphere and exosphere. So, just like the lithosphere, the land, the atmosphere too has different layers, and those are known as troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, ionosphere and exosphere. In troposphere we stay, and stratosphere where the aeroplane moves. Then the last is exosphere, where we do not get oxygen. The oxygen level is very low in the exosphere. Then atmosphere supports life on earth. We breathe oxygen present in the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide enables plants to prepare food. Nitrogen, which comprises nearly 79% of the atmosphere, makes our soil fertile. Air is essential for survival and we must prevent its pollution. So, it is the air. We know that without air we cannot survive. In order to breathe we need air, and that also fresh air. So, we should always keep in mind that we should protect our air from the pollution, from the harmful smokes coming out from the factories. Now, there is a atmospheric composition of earth. Argon gas, which consists of 0.90%, other gases of 0.17% and carbon dioxide, it has 0.3%. Next, biosphere, where life exists. Biosphere is a sphere where life exists on earth. Life exists everywhere on land, in air and water. So, everywhere life exists. We have three composition of earth. We have lithosphere, we have hydrosphere and we have atmosphere. And in this three composition life exists. On land we can see different on land we human beings we live, then animals also they live. Then on water we can see the aquatic animal, the fishes. Then on air we can see the birds. So, on this three composition life exists, and this existence is combined is it as biosphere. Life exists everywhere on land, in air and water. So, the biosphere overlaps all these spheres. It comprises the world of all the plants and animals, including ourselves. It also comprises the natural surroundings in which all of us interact and influence each other. Hence, the biosphere includes both the living and non-living components. Any adverse impact on any of its components disrupts the functioning of the entire biosphere. For example, deforestation destroys the habitat of animal living in the forest. It removes the food and fodder supply of the people dependent on those trees. Lack of trees gives rise to rampant floods and mud floods. So, we can see that the biosphere consists of living and non-living components, and if any of these components are being disturbed, if the functioning is not done properly, so it will affect each and every living and non-living components living in this biosphere. Example, if the tree is cut down, there will be the oxygen level will come down, and therefore we will not get food, and hence the living of animals will also become very difficult, because we know that forest is the kingdom of the animals. And then the soil will also be spoiled because of because of the roots of the trees. The soil becomes fertile for cultivation, and then this will give rise in floods and also mud floods, means landslides will be there. Now let us do an activity. Look at the image and answer the questions given below. This is an image, and in this image what we can see? What is shown in this image? We can see that garbages are being thrown in the street, and then many harmful gases are being passed in the air. What does it impact the Earth's biosphere? How does it affecting the biosphere? Harmful gases and smokes are being released in the air, which becomes very pathetic for the living beings to survive, because we need fresh air to breathe. What can you do to prevent this? Now, what can you do to prevent this? What measures you can take up? Solution you can take up for this. You need to write it down. Now, let us do the exercises. First is a filling the blanks. The Earth is composed of 4 rims or spheres. Lithosphere has 3 layers. Since 71% of the Earth is covered with water, it is also known as the blue planet. Rain and snow are forms of precipitation. Atmosphere is a mixture of many gases. Next, choose the correct answer. Nearly 79% of the Earth's atmosphere consists of nitrogen. Continuous movement of water in the environment is known as water cycle. Lithosphere is the realm of land. The innermost layer of the Earth is core. So now that's all for today. Next time we will see with a new topic. Thank you.